mind is constipated, stomach filled with headaches. The lack of trust, feeling the pain in my breastplate. High blood pressure, medications they titrate. Drug companies don't care, they just out to get paid. Can't retire, gotta keep earning a slave wage. No dollar cost average when the money's less than average. Have no expectations like Pulse Chain or Sacrifice. I wear the same sneakers every day.
What's going on, everybody? It's the Crypto Wonder from the Crypto Wonder Show. Your host. Let's get right into it. But before that, I hope you all are doing well. So now, as of late, well, there's always something going on in the cryptocurrency space, as we know it. Many things, not just something, but many different things, right? But I'm gonna take the time out in this episode to speak about these projects, these sacrifice projects, where folks have sacrificed monies into whatever freedoms that the projects were promoting, right? See, I know it sounds like, with some of the opinions I have and ideas, that I don't like builders. See, that's not true at all. It's not that I don't like builders. I just like talking about Hex. I like talking about Pulse Chain. I like talking about Pulse X. I like projects that come complete or that are working, right? If they perform well, that's a win for everybody. I mean, who can hate on anything like that? I'm not that type of person to do that, right? But there's certain things behind this, because again, these things are nuanced in a way where when you have folks that promoted the likes of liquid loans and a sacrifice phase for liquid loans, when you have projects like Power City, Mintra, and the list goes on, that have yet to really show launch like a strong, like just active all around. And I'm not talking about how people are saying that Power City has Portal X and blah blah blah. Do your research. It's not my point. The whole point is the same pushback that Richard got within the last almost two years, 22 months. Well, not right now, it's over the period, but the first 22 months since the Pulse Chain sacrifice started, he was getting all kinds of criticism, and I would even say rightfully so. And what was the retort? Software is hard. There was all kinds of reasons why things weren't launched when we thought things should have been launched, but at the same time, we should have had no expectations the whole time, right? So it's the same thing, I guess, the same premise with liquid loans, no expectations. But when you're raising $50 million, people are going to have expectations. When these other projects are raising tens of millions of dollars, there are going to be expectations. And yet, to date, as the time of this recording, all you get from these people as far as project sacrifices are updates of an update. Again, so far, there are projects that have had sacrifices that are actually actively working, that have launched. Salute to them. But more haven't. And many of the projects that people sacrifice for have already scammed on Pulse Chain. This is why, like, I don't understand when folks get upset when these issues are raised. Why should you get upset? If you're logically trying to really analyze and see things for what they are and present real questions, why should that be necessarily a bad thing? I don't think it's bad at all. I don't. Because if I was a person that had engaged in sacrificing for Liquid Loans, Power City, Mintra, whatever, Dexes that are coming out, 9-inch and everything, and nothing's been produced, and it's not, I'm not even, let me put 9-inch has just been sort of like recent as of late, as of this year. But when you talk about Liquid Loans, that started the sacrifice phase maybe a month after Pulse Chain did, and to date, here we are 2+ years later, and there's nothing. And you're talking about hearing about some fetch Oracle, fetch them, go fetch. No one cares, right? No one really cares. Why? Because there's 50 million reasons why people don't care about the updates of an update, announcements of an announcement. Seriously. Who wants to crap on their own monies? Because in the spirit of gambling, because that's what people do in this space, you can't stop people from being who they are. In the spirit of just trying to put their monies on red or black, like on a roulette table, or playing in slot machines, treating crypto as if it's just a casino, you could do whatever you want. But then when you align your project to an ecosystem that talks about delayed gratification, an ecosystem that talks about really being in control of your own coins, an ecosystem that talks about being able to not only be in control of your own coins, but lock them up and earn yield every day. And then you have other attachments or other ideas or other promises that are coming into the fold that have not yet materialized, that have not yet launched, that have people are still waiting and watching you constantly produce nothing but words. You want to talk about a bad look? It's a terrible look. Terrible optics. And folks, sometimes I get where people don't care. You know what I mean? Folks mainly really don't care until something happens to them. And that's sad and unfortunate. But it's the reality. Hopefully those projects do come out and they perform well. But like Richard Hart said back in November 2021, most of the time projects that talk about coming out, they suck. You know? Again, we have projects that have since launched and they're doing what they're supposed to do, and I'm glad no one's getting rugged from the projects that have launched. I'm not really interested in them per se, but it doesn't mean that they're bad, right? Because people have choices. Crypto's filled with 27,000 coins and tokens where people could easily pick anything and get confused and lose their shirt, like just get wrecked. You know? And that's just what we want to minimize. We want to reduce the risk of losing if we can help it. And right now, those who sacrifice for Liquid Loans, Power City, whatever, Mintra, that are still waiting, it's like, you're sitting on nothing. Hopes and a dream. Again, do your research, because people, Power City, they say, a little bit of things launched, but what really is supposed to materialize hasn't launched yet. So I don't know. That's not the point. Right? Because the same criticism, the same observation, the same talk that Richard has gotten, why can't anybody else get the same talk? Especially if you're legit, if you're solid, you should be able to take it, you should be able to deal with it, right? You should treat this as serious as anything else, as you'd like to be treated. If you were on the level, you would expect and welcome concerns and et cetera, and see how this does make you look terrible, not producing anything to date. Makes you look ridiculous, engaging in outrage marketing when you see that the man is being investigated now due to the outrage marketing, and you don't have the experience that he has in crypto. You don't have the track record that he has in crypto, right? You can't show anybody what you've done in the past in crypto that's been remotely successful. But you want people to believe that something may or may not happen, and you may or may not deliver on your promise. And to keep hope alive. Who's doing that? Who's really doing that in the real world? In a time where the economic and financial systems are continuously clamping down on our freedoms, are continuously showing us that the power of the dollar diminishes by the day. The value, not even the power, but the value of the fiat money diminishes by the day. Because you have to align this with some serious aspects of what's going on here. Because this is all about money. And there's nothing that shouldn't be taken as a joke. But many of you do. You don't take this serious. Again, you treat it as if you're walking into a bodega or a convenience store and you're buying a scratch off or a lotto ticket, hoping that one day you'll hit. And that's not what's going on here, because you willingly gave away your money to some strangers you'll probably never meet. Again, many of them have scammed already. How does it feel? You want to keep repeating the same thing, looking for a different result? Exhibiting the very meaning of what insanity is? By all means. By all means. It's not what I wish for you personally, but it's just what you display and what you consciously want to continue to engage in. That's your choice. You have free will. Do whatever you want. But listen, the talk is going to continue to happen. What's going on, folks? Where are these projects? You can't stand the heat, get out the kitchen. I'm out. Peace.